Hey, it's Romy. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the February reading for the sign of Libra. So if you have sun, rising or moon in Libra, it may resonate for you. If it does and you'd like to support my work, you can go ahead and purchase the extended reading, and the link for that is in the description box below. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and check out the readings that I offer via my website romywyser.com. You can also join my membership group via Patreon. Okay Libra, let's see what February has in store for you. Okay Libra, so we're opening up your reading with two cards. The first is your guide card for the month of February. I've selected it from the Major Arcana in the Tarot, and it's the card of the High Priestess. The second card is your gift card for the month of February, and it is the card of potential. I'm working with the idea of the guide and the gift with personal intuitive readings, your 2020 soul journey and journey to love. You can find more details on my website. But for the month of February, we open up with this energy of the High Priestess for you, Libra. And I think what the first thing that comes through for me is that as we move into the energy of this month, I really see you in a place of deep inner contemplation and assessment. I really think that you are reviewing the fallout or the assimilation or the change, looking first and foremost within, but also how the landscape has perhaps irrevocably changed following that eclipse season and the first month of this year in January. We see the High Priestess really allowing you to read the energy incredibly well through this month. And we have a Mercury retrograde, which already allows us to tap more deeply into our intuitive senses. And it's in the sign of Pisces, although it will also drop into Aquarius. So we're going to be in shadow right from the start of the month. It stations retrogrades on the 17th through to the 4th of March in this very watery sign. And I get this sense with you, Libra, that you've placed something down. I feel like you've put something to one side as you take stock. So whether this is that you have had to put a relationship to one side, or an idea, or just a project that you are waiting to really kind of do some deeper thinking and review through this month before you are ready to kind of come to a firm and final conclusion. And I think that's really a good idea for you. In Aquarius, we're in 5th house for you, so it is a lighter energy. It is helping you to come to a place of understanding about what lights you up, where you feel that sense of passion and desire and that creative energy that you need to lock into in order to feel like, yes, this is the right way forward for me. Of course, 5th house also is a very romantic placement, so I think you are also in that place of reviewing and deciding perhaps what the right way forward is from a relationship perspective, or really deciding perhaps the type of person that you're looking for if you've just come out of a relationship or finding yourself in a place of being single. For me, having this energy of the High Priestess as your guide is certainly drawing people towards you, Libra, which I think is interesting because I kind of have you not really paying attention. Her eyes are closed in this card, and I feel that where you're at is from this place of really considering the potential of a whole range of options, a whole range of ways forward and directions that are now starting to show up and become available to you. And I think you're not really prepared to sort of really lay it on the line in terms of where you stand on a particular situation right now, because you're all about looking deeper and really getting into the source of kind of what's been unearthed. But I love this gift card of potential coming through, because I think one of the rich sort of nuggets that's coming up in this month of February for you, Libra, is that you've discovered something about yourself in this past few weeks. And you're kind of in a place where I feel like you're sort of ready to test that out, which I feel is why you've perhaps had to put something down. You've had to lay something down till you give yourself some time and space to decide how you want to honor that growth, what you want to do about this new revelation that you've come to. And this could just be that you're really starting to think in a different way, or you've discovered perhaps a new gift or a talent, or even that there's a new passion that has been revealed to you and you're really keen to want to explore that. And I don't really see you in the mood particularly for wanting to compromise. And I think that this guidance of the High Priestess is going to give you a very kind of sacred space to be able to take the time that you need to figure that out. Now, on the 7th, we have Venus moving into the sign of Aries, which of course is your 7th house of partnerships. So quite a flirtatious, playful energy. So from the romantic perspective, this is a month that could definitely see you feeling intrigued about new connections, or certainly having different types of conversations with people. But I also think that you're not getting too close. You know, there's something a little bit reserved, a little bit held back that comes through with that High Priest energy. You perhaps have a bit of a boundary up, not because you're trying to be unavailable. I just think you're aware that you need to sort of protect your energy and kind of keep it quite clean through this month as you figure out something of importance for you. Of course, that card of the High Priestess has such a connection into the moon, and then we open up your reading with the star. So this very kind of celestial, spiritual energy is all around you right through this month of February. And I think that you are going to be really tuned in and tapped into that higher self, to your guidance that's coming forward, recognizing signs and validations as they're coming up for you. And I think this is probably going to help you make some clear decisions, but not quite yet, is what I want to say. So this energy of the star could be an Aquarius that we're dealing with, and perhaps, you know, as we're looking at that relationship aspect, maybe it is, you know, something from a romantic perspective that you are trying to consider the potential of moving forward. But I also think that this is bringing in a bit of healing and some respite, and the opportunity for you to create a new vision for yourself, and actually to feel really inspired by it. I get a tremendous sense of inspiration that comes forward with these 3 cards for you, Libra. So, you know, from a professional or working capacity, if you're looking to really find something that makes you unique, if you want to figure out like some different options or a way forward, I think through this season you're absolutely going to come up with some fantastic new initiatives, new approaches, and it's going to feel like they're just going to drop in from nowhere, is what I want to say, with the energy of that High Priestess and star coming through. I also think that you might recognize, you know, in that retrograde, that when there's a time to revisit things, that you could look at something from a different perspective and really start to see its value. And of course that could, you know, include relationships as well, but I do think you'll be looking at the potential of something from a different perspective, because it's coming from almost like you looking at it from a soul journey and saying, what's for my highest and best good right now? What can this teach me? What do I have to learn? You know, now honouring the growth, what I've just been through, what I'm prioritising, how my vision for the future might look and feel different. Now I can start to see the value of this or not. So I think it's really going to make you see things in a new light. We have a lot of evening skies coming through with these cards as well. So I feel like it's that quiet time of reflection where perhaps not everything is fully into the light. Okay, we also have the card of Hermit. So you're definitely doing some deeper soul searching energies. You know, it's a very, that Mercury in Pisces, deep oceanic kind of energy, but the wisdom, I mean, my goodness, between High Priestess and the Hermit, the amount of wisdom that's coming up for you through February is going to be incredibly profound, and I think you're going to apply that in a really powerful way, Libra. I feel like you're sort of gathering yourself to decide the direction that this is going to be used, and inevitably it's going to be supporting how you can advance yourself in whatever area that you really want to make that change and adjustment. You know, when we move into Pisces, it's activating your 6th house, so that house of service, of self-care, of, you know, the things that you want to do differently, and having the wherewithal and the determination to make that happen. So, you know, Mercury retrograde gives us the time to review and reset. Ace of Cups energy coming in. So yes, there is this very loving, very gentle, very nurturing energy that I think is going to be around you in February. Some of you may well need that, because I think that from a healing perspective, you may have gone through some really powerful shifts over the last few weeks, and really still coming to terms with kind of what that means for you moving forward. But also for those of you that may have felt incredibly stuck, I also see this as a really beautiful illumination of like change coming in, but in a way that feels really good to you. that it's almost like you're starting to see the picture coming to life, and you're saying, that's where I want to be. This is what feels good for me. That's the path I want to take. And so that could lead to some big decisions about you wanting to move away from certain people, certain situations, certain jobs, so that you can really find the people that are going to be with you in this next energy cycle, you know, being able to do the type of work that's really what you're meant to be doing. So for many of you, I see the decisions formulating, and as you're deep in this assessment, the amount of guidance that you're getting from your own team and spirit is going to be really strong. And I think you're going to feel that. So there's not going to be a huge amount of doubt. And I really like that for you, Libra. I think actually, if you're allowed to be given this space, and okay, you know, life can sometimes get in the way and we can get pushed and pulled in numerous different directions. But again, this card of assessment, I mean, you really are doing that inner contemplation about, you know, what you need to change and what's right for you. I think that there is so much goodness to come in. It just feels to me like we're right on the kind of tipping point of so much sort of karmic reward and harvest set to begin to reveal itself for you. So I also want to say is like, don't give up at that final hurdle. I think for many of you, there is going to be changes, especially around your work. I think you're going to start to feel that the heart is gone, perhaps, from a particular job or a business or an idea. And either you need to find a way to recapture it by changing things up or doing it differently, or you want something completely different. And I think some of you are going to literally break out and perhaps have a complete career change, or definitely come to the conclusion through the month of February that you want something very different. But the Seven of Pentacles does give us an earth anchoring, which is lovely. You could also be dealing with a Virgo energy with that Hermit card coming in, but I do feel that what these cards are saying to me is this is very much about your wisdom that is coming to you through this month, and understanding that in order to be really tuned in and to receive that you are going to have to kind of dedicate a little bit of energy towards it. And so something might give. You might have to make a compromise short term. You might not be as available to people as they want you to be, and as they want you to be. So Seven of Wands coming in, and it may well be that you have to be a little bit defensive, or you have to kind of stand up for yourself. You know, maybe one or two obstacles to deal with as we come to the conclusion about the adjustments and changes that we want to make. But again, you know, the spiritual indication of sevens coming in your reading is really beautiful. Picking up such a huge amount of angelic energy in your reading as well today. So I think for those of you that do connect into the angelic realm, it's also going to be a really strong month for you to receive those signs and validations. But I think they're working on a deep level from a healing perspective, so that you can actually clear and wash out anything that's been holding you back in terms of your not being able to see yourself in the vision of something, you know. So perhaps if you did have the idea of the potential of where something could go, and it hasn't been realized, and you've had that sense of setback, I've got this kind of really beautiful angelic energy coming in to sort of lift you and bring in some hope and renewal around what's possible. Because I do feel, and it'll be interesting to see if this comes out, that we have a bit of a game changer energy coming in, because I'm already kind of feeling that Wheel of Fortune moment. So we'll see if the card comes through, but the full energy, certainly, it just feels like there's a new direction coming up for you as we move into the springtime. So not maybe fully formed through this month of February, Libra, but I definitely think that you are like readying yourself for a huge life shift and change. And it's something that feels really good for you, because for me with that Ace of Cups, it's absolutely heart aligned. And I think that's where Aquarius season is really going to support you, because in that fifth house, you're going to get the lightness that you need, the inspiration that you need. And it's going to shift your energy as well. Like I said, you are going to be very magnetic. People are going to be really interested and curious to see, you know, what your perspective is, what your next step is. I see you being kind of quite, it's not that you're avoiding, it's not that you're holding back. I just think you're distracted. That's what I'm going to say. But distracted, not in a kind of daydream way, deeply distracted in a very productive way, because you are looking at the details and the nuances of what comes next for you. So if you have, and you bump up against that kind of Seven of Wands energy where you feel challenged by someone or you're being pushed, I really think you're going to navigate that quite beautifully. I don't see you having to ruffle any feathers particularly. I just feel that Page of Swords coming through, you're going to be able to communicate and express yourself in a clear enough way that just says, you know, I need to do me right now, frankly. I just need to do me. And I think that you have to be quite clear about that and make no apologies. It's almost those one-line statements where you're absolutely honest and truthful and there's no follow-up required. That's like the best way to kind of move through this month. Because remember, Mercury retrograde can often make that communication a little bit more hazy, a little bit more difficult. Messages coming forward to you, I feel, particularly from a work perspective. I think somebody's also presenting a really powerful idea to you, I think, this month, Libra. If that is the case, I think you need to take some time to sit with it and to feel and to sense into it is kind of what I would say with that High Priestess as your guide. You're definitely going to consider the potential of what it could do for you. And I want you to be quite selfish like that. I want you to look at this idea that's presented, whether it's a business, a project, you know, opportunity of a new job, or even somebody that wants to, you know, have your support on board. It might not be, you know, paid work. It could be, you know, anything that somebody wants you to get involved with is what I'm going to say. But I want you to be selfish from the perspective of, is this going to advance me? Is this going to help me with my growth and where I'm at right now? What does this have to offer? And I don't want you to be apologetic about that, because you're at a point right now where you are literally on this tipping point of like stepping into this really beautiful new energy. And it's like you almost need a platform to be able to start to share a lot of the wisdom that's come up and been unearthed within you. So there's no point in moving sideways or backwards into any kind of situation or dynamic that just feels old or just the same, more of the same. Like, that isn't going to light you up. So unless you feel really excited and have a sense of emotional kind of attachment to the prospects of what it has to offer, unless it's showing you that there's a little bit of a stretch and that, you know, there's definitely something to be gained, it feels quite vibrant, it feels exciting, there's maybe a bit of adventure to it, I don't really see you kind of wanting to align to it. And I think that's really good. From a relationship perspective, you know, there's definitely the opportunity either for somebody new or something to kind of be, I want to say like, not revamped, but just like there's a opportunity to take something and inject a new energy into it. And I feel that, again, it's because of what you are bringing to the table. It's the way that you're communicating. It's how your language has changed. Page of Swords, you know, we've talked about this in the last couple of readings with you, how, you know, the way that you're expressing yourself, the language that you're using is changing and is different. And, you know, as that air sign, you have the capacity to be able to move quickly through these thought forms. So, you know, when we are in retrograde and you are tuned in and you're receiving the divine messages in terms of where you need to be, some of the inspiration and the epiphanies that are going to come from those conversations are going to be really powerful. Okay. Queen of Cups. Wow, there's a lot of water energy. Intuitive, again, just like deeply psychic energies that are coming up, very empathic. I think for those of you who are already aware of their sensitivity, there are going to be moments through this month that you need to be careful of your energy, I'm going to say a little bit, because it could just get a little bit overwhelming. I think some of the information that's going to set to flood in from an energy perspective. I think there's also going to be some of you who are starting to open up and have that kind of time of awakening. So you are going to start to feel and sense energy in a very different way, which again could sort of not unsettle you, but you know, I feel it's really beautiful in the unfolding, but I think it could quite surprise you in terms of the power of it. But that Queen of Cups, again, bringing in a beautiful, gentle, healing, nurturing energy, very receptive energies, you know, and none of these cards, really bar the Fool, are kind of powering forward in any way. So I don't see that. There's a tremendous amount of progress that's going to be made in February, but it's not from taking the physical action to drive it forward, Libra. That's what I want to say. It's coming from all of the shifts in the awareness that's coming on your internal emotional landscape. And you know, from an energy perspective, that's actually way more powerful. So when you get to the point of when you're ready to actually start to implement this, then it's going to move really quickly, is what I feel. So that Queen of Cups energy could be somebody in the relationship situation, perhaps another water sign, or somebody that's coming up as I'm going to say to you, you might be feeling they're a little bit needy in their energy, actually, Libra. They may be communicating, kind of trying to flood you. That's kind of the impression I get. There's almost like a flooding of messages. And of course, we're always in that season where potentially ex-partners or old connections can come back. But this might not be a romantic partner. This could be somebody that you are dealing with from a friendship, family, or work perspective. But they're really trying to get your attention and your energy right now. And I think that you are having to perhaps like stand up and be a little bit standoffish almost, just to sort of give yourself some time and space. I don't have any ill intent with the person at all. I just feel that they're a little bit misguided and perhaps in a place of just like needing you to decide, or needing you to come to a place of you know, helping them or telling them what to do next. And you're not really about that this month, Libra. You know, you're an incredibly benevolent, beautifully helpful energy at the best of times, but sometimes it is important that you just take all of that love and support and nurturing and you send it inwards, because it's needed to help you get to the next level. So if some of you are coming up against that kind of flood of messages or energy coming in, you know, just take a higher ground, be wise in your counsel, choose how you want to respond. Look at the potential of the situation, try to see it from a different perspective, try to respond in a different way than you perhaps would have in the past, just to show yourself how things have changed. Okay, another Cups energy coming in, Six of Cups, again representative of perhaps somebody from the past, or you certainly reviewing, I think, and looking back and deciding, you know, have I really allowed myself to move in the direction toward the things that I know I want? Where have I held myself back? What now can I do to support my growth moving forward? Where do I need to find love in my life? And, you know, that isn't just in a relationship sense. I mean, you know, are you doing enough in the day-to-day to give yourself that beautiful outlet of creative, loving expression? You know, do you have that hobby? You know, we're all in that sixth house, right? So it's about the rituals and the way you take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul. So very gentle, flowing, beautiful energy. You know, there's maybe some dynamics going on with family and children this month that are playing out really strongly, and perhaps you're considering how you're changing as a parent and the way that you want to parent. I also have that kind of energy coming through for some of you as well. But take this guide and gift as being really powerful advocates of looking at things deeply, seeing behind the facade of things, and really kind of allowing for that inner knowing to guide you and powerfully show you where, even if on the surface, you know, things don't look like they have much to offer, that there are deeper, richer offerings that I feel are set to come through. I do feel that there's definitely going to be some kind of very sliding doors, synchronistic period as we move through this month of February, Libra. It well could be expectation. Okay, it well could be that something comes out of the blue or back from the past that's really going to surprise you. I have a really nice feeling and energy when I tune into that. Okay, expectation, I think you are reviewing. This is part of the wisdom that we see coming in with the Hermit, with the High Priestess. It's the expectation of almost having no expectation. That's what I want to say. It's seeing where it's tripped you up in the past. It's seeing where you've perhaps directed it in the wrong places. So instead of putting that expectation upon another person or upon a situation to have to change in order for you to feel better, what you're doing is calling all of that energy back in and saying, the only expectation that I have right now is for me to be the very best version of myself, for me to find the potential within me so that I can unlock the next stage of growth that I have, because I know that if I'm able to do that, the energy that I'm emitting and sending out is going to benefit all of my relationships, and it's going to take me further in a work, professional, personal capacity. So that's where I feel that message is coming through really strongly. Don't let the past hold you back, South Node. Okay, so, you know, there is a very fated quality, I feel, about what's happening around you in the month of February, Libra. That's what I want to say. So pay very close attention to the people that are showing up, the conversations that you're having, noticing what you're thinking about, the way that you're thinking, the signs and validations that you're getting from a spiritual perspective, and really think about the future that you're carving out for yourself right now, because I feel that what you are deep in contemplation about is being very directed and guided, and it's set to give you some beautiful blessings as we move forward and really help to reveal a different way of being and a different way of showing up. I really love that. Okay, Libra, I hope this has given you some clarity into this month of February. If you would like to join me for the extended reading, I'm going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards, see what additional messages come through for us here. And that's a way to support my channel by just joining me for the extended. The link is in the description box below. So we'll begin with a star energy, King of Pentacles. Okay, this could be an earth sign that we are dealing with as well, a Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. I also feel it could be very representative of you just building a deeper sense of internal security. You know, we talked about the fact that, you know, a lot of the emotional crutches, 9 of Wands, have been dismantled, they've been cleared out. You know, we're having to build new solid foundations for ourselves moving forward, new ways of interacting and communicating. Okay, King of Cups is coming through again. Queen of Cups again. Okay, over the Ace of Cups. So maybe there's some really powerful relationship dynamics playing out through this month. We'll go into a little bit more detail about that in the extended. So you could well have a lot of water signs around you at the moment, Libra, the Fool, or certainly people that are coming up in a very emotional way around you. I think you're very sensitive and tuned in from an empathic perspective, but I don't see you kind of like deep in that like woe is me energy or losing yourself. I actually see you quite strong with that High Priestess as your guide. 9 of Pentacles with 7 of Wands. Okay. A little bit of defiance going on in the middle of the reading here is what I want to say, actually. So I quite like that. You've got a little bit of fire where you need it coming in for some reason. 3 of Pentacles with the Fool. Okay. So one more with that 5 of Swords. Okay, Page of Swords bringing in Knight of Cups. New love coming in, a new offer coming in. Remember I talked about somebody presenting an idea to you. I think this is also clarifying that. Ace of Wands, yeah. Knight of Swords coming through with that Queen of Cups. Remember I talked about this Queen of Cups energy kind of flooding you with messages. It just feels slightly aggressive, you know, and that Knight of Swords kind of echoing that for me. Just the approach, I feel. 2 of Swords, it's leaving you in a place of kind of indecision, but not really wanting to deal with something there as well, you know, but you're just getting pecked with the birds here. Card of the Lovers with a 6 of Cups. Let's just pull one more for that. The Moon. Wow, I think you're going to be floating your way through February, Libra. Okay, Expectation, Temperance. beautiful healing energies in this reading. And 10 of Cups. Wow, beautiful. Okay, if you'd like to join me, I look forward to continuing the conversation in the extended. Otherwise, I wish you bright blessings for this month of February. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed, please do drop me a like and a comment, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for future readings. Take good care. Bye for now.